What's up, family? I'm going to do a 2-for-1. I'm going to include this video about this Haitian dude who thinks hip hop is not Black American culture. He's like Cologne. He believes it's basically New York culture. And then I'm going to follow up with a little bit about Dr. Cologne. Okay? I came across this video on my feed. I actually don't know who these people are, but I found the conversation interesting. And here you have, apparently, you have this Haitian guy from New York who is basically having a discussion with what appears to me to be foundational Black Americans. And he's trying to convince these foundational Black Americans that hip hop is not Black American culture. It belongs to those in New York. And what I love about what the sister is going to say, and even what the brother is going to say, who is foundational Black Americans, they're pushing back and they're using the same arguments that I would use in terms of saying that Black culture is not regional. And despite, common sense language coming from these two individuals, this Haitian guy refused to let go of his position. He stands 10 toes down on his position that hip hop is not Black American culture. It just doesn't belong to Black people in America. Like I said earlier, I don't know who the host is. I don't know what the name of his channel is. It just came on my feed. But he appears to be a racist because he even said that jazz was created by the Creoles. So what does that tell you? And so, again, our music culture is being attacked all around the world. There's so much evidence out there. Black folks, wake up. Our music culture is under attack. Now, the only face we're going to see is the host. So you're just going to hear the voices of the foundational Black Americans and the voice of the Haitian guy from New York. So let's get into it.
Weren't as gatekeepers as a lot of other communities were. They were actually very inviting of outside people, including the Black community in many places like the Bronx, Spanish Town.
Like the way New York work is the way we see it is it's New York and Jersey versus everybody. And I understand Philly, you know what I'm saying? But
that's the Haitian guy speaking right there.
Hold on, everybody give me
Asians created hip hop.
each other a chance. Let's not do this.
I'm just
Make your
go
ahead and finish. Go ahead, just call me. Go ahead and finish, and then let Buddha speak. Go ahead.
Well, you were finished, Buddha, because I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to let you finish making your point.
Okay, whichever goes first, fine.
It's just because it's always difficult to speak about this with people that's not from out here because it's really hard to explain how we work out here. But like when you in New York, it's like New York over everything else secondary. So you can be from Jamaica, but like you can be from Trinidad, you can be from down south, you can be from everything. But we all share spaces. All our safe spaces are always the same spaces. We all share culture. So our culture blends cohesively.
Go ahead.
When it comes down to creation of anything, when it comes down to everything that comes out of New York, it's a shared project. So if you're talking about hip hop, and New York is a cultural place where all the Black people from all the corners of wherever, we all share everything. You can't split it up and say it's uniquely only African American because we share shit here. And I get that in other places.
But I disagree with that. And I disagree with that because first of all, you don't have to be a native of New York or be from there to understand how culture works and how people and how it's possible for people who are two distinct cultures or various distinct cultures to adapt norms of those other cultures without because listen, for instance, if I lived in New York, right, even if I was born there, I don't really have to listen, even if I engaged in Puerto Rican culture or Dominican culture or whatever, I mean, I have enough common sense to know that it doesn't come from my people because when I go home in my household, my people are not doing that. My people are doing something different from what they do. Okay, it's a prime example of what I've told you here in Miami. You see a lot of people in Miami dressing like us as Black Americans, talking like us, mixing up with us. But when they go home at the end of the day, they eat Spanish food and I eat food.
All the shit that we do outside that we share, we do at home too.
Can I say something?
See, this Haitian guy is delusional.
Can I say something?
But it's not European. That's a lie. Okay, so
Can I get a chance to talk, guys?
Everybody, let we do respect women's voices here, so let Bree talk. Go ahead, Bree.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is what I want Buddha to understand, even though I don't think he's gonna get it. You are speaking as if you can teach us about soul, funk, and R&B music when your people just got here. We have literally been.
Where come from?
We have literally been in this country.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I can teach you about any of those things.
Can I please finish talking? I didn't interrupt you. I just wanted to.
Let's not get out of hand. Let her finish. This is my forum. Go ahead.
We African Americans have been in this country for about 450 years. So we know not just the history of our community, but we know the history of our community's music. And you don't understand that. So when you talk on, okay, well, in New York, we share everything, that's not how it is, because Black people did not start out in New York. What you guys are doing who are not African American is you're trying to divide the African American community by cities. We are not divided by cities. We are one community from New York to Chicago to Atlanta to LA. We are one community that came out of slavery together from the South, and we spread north, and we spread west, and we spread east. We are not originally up there. We're originally from the South. So the music that you're talking about, soul and funk, is not New York music. It comes from people who are from the South. So please do not, like as a Haitian, I'll respect your history on your people. Do not come and try to tell us our history on our music here, because you do not know it better than ours. And our community is not divided here. We are one, the African American. We have our disagreements with one another, but if I go to Atlanta, if I go to LA, wherever I go, I know my people. We are one community, and we're not divided by cities.
Preach, sister.
I understand what you're trying to say, but I feel like you're severely overestimating how much people from here like other people. We don't deal with people from outside of our region. We don't do it. And if you're from New York, you get that. We don't like outsiders. I'm not saying that your music isn't your music. It's not African.
This brother is delusional. This Haitian dude is delusional. Listen to him.
New York City as a whole and the region over here is different from the rest of the country. We don't bangs with y'all like that. We don't mix with y'all like that. We don't mess with y'all when we leave, because we don't, it's just not, it doesn't flow the same, you know what I'm saying? When we out here, everybody.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When we out here and we move how we move, it makes sense to us. It's not gonna make sense to y'all because y'all not from out here, and y'all have different cultural, even if it's just subtly. Chicago and New York not the same. LA and New York not the same. Atlanta and New York not the same. Atlanta and Chicago not the same. We all got our different.
New Orleans not the same.
This guy wants to be hip hop. He wants Black American culture and music so bad that he's gonna try to convince us that Black people globally, or no, Black people in America, I should say, who are foundational Black Americans, are not the same people. The guy's ridiculous. Let's keep it going.
Who was born and raised in this culture, all my ancestors being from here. I have gone to other parts of the country, and although, of course, there are some regional differences, for the most part, we have the same exact culture. It's not very much of a difference. My cousin was living in Los Angeles, for instance, and I went out there, and my people are from Miami. And it's crazy because I still see uncanny similarities. Like one thing, for instance, I went out to LA, and I saw how brothers, like a lot of brothers out there, they love dressing in those Dickie uniforms. And it's crazy because out here, I see brothers doing the same thing all the time. You know, like, I mean, that's just one example. We all eat soul food. We all go to Sunday church. Okay, we all got the same things. I hear people out there in California saying things like, oh, yeah, man, I'm about to make a grip. People say the same thing here, so we know our people, man, is what I'm saying. We don't have to be from the same region to know that.
And I
So
get that.
let me ask you an honest question, y'all, since Jazz was brought up as one of...
Oh, I'm not going to even deal with this guy. This is the guy who said that jazz was created by the Creoles. So the brother had it right. Like I said in one of my videos many months ago, I could go to a church in the East Coast. Rest assured, if I went to one on the West Coast that was the same type of church, like a Baptist church, I guarantee the music and the order of service will be identical, because we come from the same culture. The same thing with food. After church service, we go eat at my cousin's house or my uncle's house. Guaranteed the food is going to be the same because we're the same people. This guy believes that somehow Black people living in Chicago is so different from people, brothers and sisters living in New York or on the West Coast. It's totally ridiculous. Let's keep it moving.
You have to take something into consideration. Many of us didn't stay. Many of us.
Blues, you might.
Right. Let me just say something. Many of us didn't stay on one plantation. They moved our people left and right, left and right, left and right. So you don't think that with all of that moving around that there's going to be a shared similarity of culture? Like, I mean, like that's what I'm saying.
Bro,
Like,
what I'm trying to,
The question here I have for everybody is, what exactly?
Everybody, let him talk. Let him talk.
to explain.
Buddha, I'll let you talk after Lucci. Go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Lucci.
go crazy.
Here, I have a question for everybody. So if you guys are going to defend Black culture, you first have to define what Black culture is. Because in my opinion, people who live within the regions of Louisiana and they practice Creole culture, that is not Black culture. So can someone explain to me what Black culture actually is? Because if a Jamaican is coming over to the United States and developing hip hop and that's not considered Black, then what is considered Black?
It depends on if you. It depends on if you believe in.
Because I don't consider Creole culture to be Black.
If you don't believe in Pan Africanism, then it can go any other way. Because if you believe in Pan Africanism, then anybody from Ethiopia to LA is Black too.
Okay, when we talk about Black culture.
When we talk about Black culture, we're talking about Black American culture. It's really that simple.
Culture, or what about the Black culture by the people who speak French in the areas of Quebec, in Canada? Is that not also Black culture?
So some people it is. For some people, Black means American specifically.
Black culture in the United States refers to African American culture.
Exactly.
Black American culture. So in other words, a culture that comes from the people who are descendants of the people that built this country specifically, not immigrants.
Exactly.
So then, by Yvonne's point, then jazz music would be mostly Creole and not Black American.
That's
You know what
Creole.
First of all, Creole doesn't always refer to a person's race.
That is ridiculous. We all know that Black Americans created jazz. And the reason why we know that, because the foundational music art forms of jazz is ragtime and the blues. So there's no way no Creoles created no jazz. Creoles didn't bring their own form of music. Let's get the record straight. Stop making up this whole notion that Creoles created jazz. It's full of nonsense. Let's keep it moving.
Most of us are part British, as if you guys are Spanish.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The Creole and you have to, people don't understand this. This is why you keep trying to separate us. And again, let us who are actually a part of the community explain our own community. Just like if you're Haitian, you explain Haitian things. Okay, there's two African Americans on this panel.
You keep monologuing. Can you finally explain?
Go ahead, explain, please.
Okay, so my point is this: we all came out of slavery together. So some of the music and the spirituals, when we started spreading, when we finally left, that same culture we brought with us. So like I said, you keep trying to divide us into cities. It's not really like that. We still have the same culture. We have little tweaks in our culture depending on the region. Like, for example, somebody was like, well, tell me, what are you Black people from the North? I said the Black people from the North are not originally from the North. The Black people from the North are from the South because that's where we originated. So again, you can't divide our culture by region. We are one community and one people. And if you are not African American, you don't understand that. So don't try to explain that to us. And we will not try to explain to you your culture as well.
Well, see, I have to kind of differ with the sister about whether or not they were African Americans in the North. There was slavery in the North as well. But predominantly, the number of African Americans come from the South. Just want to correct that record. Let's keep going.
Let me ask you this.
No, I'm not mad at nobody. I'm just talking.
Let me ask my question. Let me ask my question. I got it. Do you not believe? Okay, so if you're making this case where there's one unified struggle with Black American solidarity, so why is it that there's no? Because the way you're sounding, you're not really incorporating intersectionality within the Black diaspora. You're just only focusing on African Americans as being, oh, you can't tell us how we define ourselves. But Boy's trying to say he's not telling y'all how to define yourselves.
Right.
There's a concept of intersectionality that happens in other cultures where even if we're not the same, there's a common struggle and a common, upward mobility here. Why is that? I noticed that in many African American spaces, whether it be on here or real life, you don't see that solidarity, like that intersectionality of struggle.
Yeah.
So what exactly do you mean by
No, let me answer.
Can I say something,
Because
please?
he asked me. Let me answer because he asked me. So here's the thing. The thing is this. Again, I said this this is a Mexican guy's live that I'm on, and he talks about Mexican and Black unity. And this is the thing. We all have to respect one another's cultural boundaries. We can't talk about intersectionality when people are trying to make it like they know our culture better than ours. If you respect us and listen to us about our culture, then we can talk about unifying. But again, I will never tell a Jamaican, well, let me tell you about your culture. That is not my place as an African American. It's my place to support the Jamaicans when they're talking about Jamaican things and their struggle and maybe things they're doing in Jamaica. It's my place as another Black diaspora to listen and to support them. And it's the same with us. Just listen and support us. I won't try to tell you, don't tell us. And then when we respect one another's boundaries, then we can unify. Does that sound good?
Because look, I get what you're saying. Because
I like what the sister said there.
people like to tell us, oh, there's no such thing as being Latino. It's not a race. But what we practice amongst ourselves as within the Hispanic / Latino communities, even when we don't get along, we still have a form of intersectionality amongst Latinos, regardless of skin color, regardless of race category, regardless of nationality.
All the races. That shit is crazy.
We come together when it's time to do it. But go ahead.
Right. So here's the thing, though. It's a little bit different with us because we are, again, race-based, because we are Black people. So when we talk about intersectionality, we reach out to other Black people of the diaspora, and it does matter to us, which is why we would probably have a very difficult time unifying with Latinos, because again, because there are white Latinos, there are mestizos, and we are Black-based, and we uplift Blackness. So that's where there's a difference. Our communities are different, and it just is what it is.
Okay.
But
Can I have the parole, please?
I feel like I'm
Father. Go ahead. He's been waiting. Go ahead, Father.
Now, after all of that, this Haitian dude, still believes that hip hop is in Black culture.
Background, like my father's Puerto Rican from the island, and my mother's from Colombia. So yes, I'm a mixed ethnic Latino. Yes.
Yeah,
go ahead.
thank you for that. I'm kind of perplexed.
Community, not by us.
What I'm trying to say.
Hip hop was so. Let me get back to Buddha. So what I'm trying to say is this: when you say we, you have to understand that even African Americans, you still can't speak for them in New York. You don't think other people have family from New York? Of course we do.
Exactly.
So right. So if you say we, you can say Haitians feel that way. Don't speak on all the African Americans in New York because you're not them. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Out here. But this is the thing.
But what makes you think you're the only person from New York, Buddha?
I'm not saying that. You finished. I'm not saying that.
Okay, so can we respect boundaries and you speak on you don't speak for African Americans. You're not a part of the community.
I just said I'm not speaking for African Americans.
Do you speaking for African Americans in New York? No.
I'm speaking for people that live in New York that are Black as a whole, because we
still have our own community in New York.
Yes, we do have you do have your own community.
Not we,
yes,
African Americans.
No, I just corrected myself. I'm not saying y'all don't have your own community in New York. What I'm saying is that people from New York, no matter where they're from, we always put I'm from New York first. I'm Haitian, but I'm specifically a Brooklyn Haitian. I'm not a Florida Haitian. I'm not a Haitian from Haiti.
Listen to Tether babble, my God.
Always differentiate ourselves from whatever suburb we come from, because we always we as a culture, we is different here. It's not like that. Like else is what I'm saying. Yes, African American people across the country share cultural things. Y'all go to church, y'all eat soul food, y'all got family outside.
Deeper than that. We came out of slavery together.
I know that because y'all have the same roots. That's common sense.
It's not just roots. We were raised practically the same. Yes, we spread and cultural tweaks happen. But you have to Right,
trying to
exactly.
say
I'm not
is
trying to argue with you neither. I'm just trying to explain to you when you talk about African Americans in New York that you cannot say that about all the because you're not African American. I don't mind if you say that about the Haitians.
I know
Huh?
people from New York, bro. I'm from New York. I
Of
know
course, you know people from New York. You don't know every AA in New York, and also a lot of AAs are not even there anymore. A lot of AAs have left. It's a lot of Africans and Caribbeans there, which is great. I love Africans and Caribbeans, but again, I'm just saying you can't speak for all. You can't speak for. You can't speak for all AAs in New York because they're still a part of our community in the U.S. and they still came from the South. That's all I'm trying to say.
I get that. And what I'm saying is when you live in New York, the way we operate here is very uniquely different from everywhere that's not from here, which is
He
why it's
still
difficult
doesn't
to
get it.
explain how
My
we grow up and
God.
how we come up here.
This
The
guy's
reason
stuck
why
on
we don't
stupid.
look at people like Fat Joe crazy for saying the N-word is because Fat Joe is Puerto Rican and we all grow up, oh yeah, Fat Joe's Puerto Rican, we know it.
But sir, I just want to interchime really quickly. What you're saying really
Buddha,
essentially
go ahead.
You're not.
You got the mic here. Go ahead. Since you're the New York guy here, give the New York perspective. Go ahead.
First of all, who's this nigga in the comments? Who's not from New York, bro? I'm from 56th Avenue D and 11203. You could keep that where you at, bro.
It's because you said you're Haitian, dude. They're trying to exclude Haitian Americans from
Whoever
speaking for the black community.
Whoever-
Per
No,
se.
they can speak
I'm talking about
for
bro in the
the
Because they're
community.
because they're not of our ethnicity. They're their own ethnicity. They're not African American.
But you do understand that America set up the black and white T color separation deliberately for this division.
But it doesn't matter. They come from a different.
Right now.
They come from a different country. They speak a different language. I mean, even if you go to the continent of Africa, Africans are not a monolith.
But do you realize that the Haitian Revolution was the remote reason why that set the stages for aspects of American emancipation, especially Nat Turner's rebellion? Because they heard stories about Haitian Revolution, even though it was decades later. They drew intersectionality.
No, black Americans are elite.
But
That had nothing to do, the Haitian Revolution had nothing to do with the slaves in Georgia, Alabama, what have you. That is totally linked to Louisiana with Napoleon. Okay, that's the history behind that. You think the slaves actually heard about what happened in 1804? Seriously, they're in the fields. Like any enslaved person, one day they're going to seek freedom. Don't try to suggest that we got something from some Haitians. What I'm gleaming from this stream is that everything that Black Americans do, we have to include all Black people, no matter where they are. Our music must be included with them. We can't have anything to ourselves. We have to share everything, even the creation of hip hop. We have to distribute credit to all Black people, even though they had nothing to do with it, even though the foundation of the music culture is Black American. But you have the tether class that want to latch on to our achievements and then say that we're racist for gatekeeping the culture. Isn't that crazy? We're the racists for trying to tell the truth about the history, not get caught up in all this kumbaya, we're all in this together nonsense. And by the way, whenever we do that, Black people, Black Americans lose. All the other groups get all the benefits, and then we are losing. Enough of losing. All right? I just so happened to be online, and I came across this this channel called Tri Media, and guess who was on it? Dr. Cologne. So let me tell you something. Dr. Cologne is the gift that keeps on giving. We all know that he's a liar. The thing about Dr. Cologne, he has the gift of gab. He has the ability to take truth and mix it with falsehoods to create a fictitious narrative. And so what I want to do is use an excerpt from this broadcast on Tri Media to illustrate Dr. Cologne's technique. Here you're going to have the brother, his name is Hits, and he's going to ask Cologne about something that Track 2 said in reference to who was the original B-boys, which track 2 says in this particular interview was the Zulu Kings. And watch how Dr. Cologne answers this question.
One, if I have it up here, video, and you can speak to this video, right? To what track 2 was talking about. You know, because they are Puerto Rican. I don't want to speak for Puerto Ricans. And I'm sure you saw the video 100 times, but you can go over mainly just the beginning of it. Okay. What he's talking about. And matter of fact, if you know the people next to him outside of Crazy Legs, it's hard for me to see. You can name them also if you could. But let's see if we can hear it. Yeah.
Blacks were the first.
Blacks were the first.
Right. Blacks were the first.
Let me go back. So when we talk about first, originate.
Keep going.
Create, but hold on. Because it's kind of doesn't have good audio quality. So let's just, and plus I don't want to get a copyright strike. So we got to talk.
Blacks were the first B-boys and the first group that was solidified that essence and B-boy motion was Zulu Kings.
All right, you can speak to that, and then I'll play the rest of the minute. I just got to put some medicine in my kitten's eye, and I'll be right back. It's that time. I'll be right back.
So
Speak to that for me. Thanks.
Track made that statement. I speak to Track all the time. I could call Track right now. And I asked him about that. I asked him about the Freshest Kids again. What he said is, this is what we were taught. This is what we were always told and what he's talking about when he says the first, he's talking about Herc's dancers specifically. But then he talks about the Zulu Kings.
You got to be kidding me here.
Now, did you catch it? Cologne is a master at lying and redirecting. The question was about the Zulu Kings and were they the first? Cologne is going to redirect the question and make it appear as if the question was about Herc's dancers, people like Sasa Trixie. This is what he does. This guy must have been doing this lying for years because he's so good at it. He's able to weave that narrative. And if you're not paying close attention, you're going to think he answered the question. That Track 2 made a mistake when he said that the Zulu Kings were the first.
Okay, no problem. But then he goes to the Zulu Kings. Again, the Zulu Kings are part of their late 75, 76. And we're talking about the original Zulu King dancers, so the B-boys. So again, this is TBB, Star Child of Rock, the Zulu Kings, they're together. When he's talking about the black B-boys, he's talking about the first B-boys being black. He's talking about those B-boys that were people made to believe that Herc's dancers, which is, again, Trixie, Sasa, Dancing Doug, even the twins, the legendary twins, that's what the story was in the streets, that they were the first ones. But when he went to investigate and he talked to them, he asked them, he honored these guys. And they told him, we never went to the floor. And he said, what? He has a video out there telling this whole thing. And he said, what do you mean you never went to the floor? Like, you're the first B-boys. They said, no, we didn't get dirty.
Now let me show you what Track 2 said in the documentary, The Freshest Kids, about Herc dancers and their influence in B-boying. And then I'm going to play the subsequent statement he made years later, retracting that statement. All right? And we're going to explore why I think he retracted that statement.
Breaking goes back, as far as I know, talking to founders of the dance, no later than 73. And these are breakers who used to break mainly on top.
It was like a whole...
Everything, all the breaking and stuff like that was considered underground. And Taku Herc brought everything out into the open. And that was like, say, 74, 75. All the underground stuff, all the in-house, all the hallway dances, and all the house party dances were brought out to the street. And the more they took it to the street, the more nationalities got involved in it. You know, it was no longer an Afro-American thing. The Hispanic took to the dance.
This is the soundbite that Cologne used in order to try to say that the Zulu Kings were not the first. All right, so let's take a listen to this.
In that video, I said that it was no longer an Afro-American dance form. At that time, I was led to believe that the style of dance did come from a Kool Herc party and their dancers. Now, years went by. I did other videos. There was a hip-hop conference held in August of 1999 at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame had the aspects of all what we call hip-hop artists with a name as far as somebody who was influencing the evolution of it. Fable was a moderator to the Rocker B-Boys panel discussion. I have pictures of that. And what happened was we had the twins, the nigga twins there. You had myself, you had Ken Swift, you had my man Zulu Grams, you had the nigga twins there, you had the DJs there, you had Case One, phenomenal graffiti writer who I could...
Fair use, guys.
During that interview, it was supposed to be an evolutionary timeline from the twins to where my generation came in and to where Kenny's generation starts to evolve, to show an evolution from a Kool Herc party dance style to a rock and a b-boy dance style to what you see today. The questions are being asked, the question kept posing to them, you know, and I got upset because they never answered the question. So it was like a stale conversation now. The question was asked over and over again. Can you show or what you did that inspired for the next generation to evolve? I was getting upset. I got pissed off. And I said, you're the fucking first B-Boys. Can you just answer the questions? Because we still have the other panels here, okay? That's part of the evolution. Fable asked them again. Last time after I posed that question. Oh, no. We never did none of that. We never touched the floor. We never got dirty. I looked at Kenny. And I was like...
So this is where Cologne gets that narrative from and tries to use that to say that the Zulu Kings weren't the first B-boy crew. You see how Cologne weaved that narrative? He didn't actually address the question, which was about the Zulu Kings. He ends up talking about Herc's dancers. And then he referenced a video Track 2 did not too long ago saying, oh, I was wrong about the Herc dancers. I was wrong about the twins. I never knew that they didn't go to the floor. I was led to believe they went to the floor. And now they don't even deserve to be in the hip hop discussion. But yet, in the video of the Freshest Kids, when he was in his 20s, he talked about the Herc dancers and said that they broke mostly up top, not to the floor. This is what's going on, in my opinion. Many Puerto Ricans in the b-boy community do not want to give credit to Black American b-boys. So they're trying to shut those early b-boys out, like Trixie Sasa, the Twins, Dancing Doug. All those guys, they're trying to shut them out. Even though they were called b-boys, they're trying to shut them out of the conversation. They want to be known as the originators of b-boying. So now they have revisionist history, retelling the story to not recognize the Black b-boys or try to find issues with their dance to suggest that they shouldn't even be called b-boys. So you see, Cologne is, I thought Trump was bad with the line. Cologne tops Trump. At least Cologne sounds believable. Like I said, he has the gift of gab. If you're not paying attention, you might think he answered that question. But he totally avoided it and misdirected the whole thing. This is Cologne's modus operandi. Just be aware of it.